Public Safety Office.
Yes, hi there. Um,
Hi.
my name is William Montgomery.
Okay.
For future reference, you can reach me here at 970-825-4421 or 970-412-5463. I'll give you those numbers later. Um, okay, so in a nutshell, I had an issue with DU security guards that I had
Okay.
requested the assistance of Denver police on. They came out, didn't do their job. I had reported that to their direct supervisor, um, Sergeant Frazier, and he failed to see the same issue that the police didn't see, and so I've been arguing with him, and basically I ended up reporting him to I'm guessing the internal affairs for him, which is the OIM. And so the OIM has done their investigation on both the Frazier, the police that night, and the security guards. Basically, gave me a letter saying that they didn't do anything wrong or anything, nor did Frazier. I know specifically, again, where things went wrong, and I need to now report the Office of Independent Monitor because they themselves don't know the law. It sounds weird, but it's really simple.
Well, you have to go to the mayor's office for that because public safety is not over OIM.
Oh, interesting. We were just transferred to you, told that you were the next
From
department up.
from the mayor, so you want to report OIM that didn't do their job?
Pretty much, yeah. They're the. I mean, yeah. It's
But
well.
they don't. So you were looking. Were you making a complaint against a Denver police officer or a private security firm with DU?
It's actually both. Um, it's really simple. Let me just say it in one sentence. We caught security guards posing as cops, saying they were cops, and they detained us with what they said was reasonable suspicion just for an investigation, and then they released us. And we found out they weren't cops after the fact. So we know that only police officers have the powers to detain for reasonable suspicion purposes, that is, investigatory purposes. We're not talking citizens arrest here. So I obviously had called the police that night. They basically ratified and said that the security guards have powers to detain, short of an
To
arrest.
detain, right?
Yeah,
Not to arrest, but
yeah, and so exactly. So we definitely know that is not true. So we reported it to his supervisor, Sergeant Frazier's supervisor. They said they would look into it. They didn't say either way, but then we got this letter just now saying that they agree with Frazier. And the funny thing is, real quick here, we have an audio of the actual event that night that is pretty damning in terms of evidence that we've been waiting to release pending the investigation on your side. And so now that you guys have sort of told us that you don't think there's anything there, we're willing to release the video or the audio now for the next guy up because what our goal was, we have other cases like this. Our goal is to basically not sting, but basically expose any corruption up the chains. And so, it was actually a relief to catch OIM if they're going to be that fraudulent too. Simple as that. We just need to get someone higher than them to knock some sense into everybody all the way down. Initially, we were interested in filing false imprisonment charges, and we still are because it was a pretty bad profile. But ultimately, it's just this really simple argument that for some reason they think that the Denver University, being private, has their own security firm, which like Walmart does.
they do.
But that they have special powers to detain, and they don't. At least not like CSUPD up here in Fort Collins does. They're actually sworn officers, and so that's our problem. Is they think they actually said they were unsworn officers. They said, and that they could go around detaining for investigations.
Cop, and they said yes.
Yeah, so when we first started the conversation with him, when we first stopped, we asked him if he was a cop, and he said, "Yeah, I am." And so the only reason why we gave our ID is to
We thought he was a cop.
we thought he was a cop
later
doing an
found out he
investigation.
was a security guard.
And so we find out later that security guards aren't even supposed to have the powers to run names, to detain people, to let them go, things like that. It's just supposed to be a citizen's arrest or not. So yeah, that's where we're at. We came from a background here on this side of like 30 other cases of false imprisonments and unlawful seizures because cops keep wronging us, and we keep exercising enough rights that we kind of have learned along the way what all the laws are out there. And so we just find ourselves in strange places, like we were at the library at DU at 2 a.m., which is still open to the public, just closed. And we're not students, but that didn't matter. And we were just leaving the place with bins and a monitor on top of our bins.
My laptop's broken.
Yeah, his laptop's broke, my brother. And so to a cop, sure, maybe you might have some suspicion to talk to us. Probably not to reasonably detain us or reasonable suspicion to detain us. But nevertheless, no matter what, if you're a security guard, the only thing you can do is talk to us or call it in or something like that. They fully stopped us, asked us questions, detained us like they were cops. Like we said, we thought we were there. They were cops. And then when they let us go, that's when we started asking questions. That's when we got the police involved, and the police ratified it all. So we were kind of disappointed. We don't think security guards should be running around detaining people for investigations. That is. So if we can get this to you or to the mayor or to someone, it's that simple. I think it would be considered a public safety issue at this point.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out if it's the OIM, Office of Independent Monitor, that you are complaining about, or because we don't have any jurisdiction over DU. So,
Yeah.
but it's
Ultimately, yeah, you know, I kind of see what you're getting after. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is make sure that the people in the right places know the right things. There's they said that they had asked the Denver District Attorney Ryan Brackley about the charges on the security guards, and that officer or that DA said that was not merited. And so basically we have kind of like four groups of people: the DA's office, the OIM, the internal affairs, and then actually five, the police that night, and then the security guards that night. All of them think that this is how the law works, and ultimately, I guess what I'm trying to get at is they're just simply a separate entity, but there's just a whole lot of ratified beliefs right now among pretty much four different departments, and so we're just trying to clean it up. I guess it's kind of tough. It is a complaint against the OIM because they themselves think that security guards have this type of power. So
let me back up a little bit. So the Office of Independent Monitor only does monitors the police and fire department. Okay? So with complaints, the OIM reports to the mayor's office because they are appointed by the mayor.
Okay. And real quick, just to clarify, the OIM does investigations on internal affairs.
Correct.
Gotcha.
For the police department.
Okay. Yep. That's So
Only Denver police. If it was not a Denver police officer, they would not be involved.
Gotcha. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. This is basically the
It's a private security firm.
Yeah.
With DU. Do you know which private security firm it is?
It's campus safety.
Just the campus safety. Is what they call themselves.
But if
they're rented out by a company, we don't know.
Yeah, we were not sure. They just kind of are the DU campus security.
Their online thing says campus safety security, so that may be their actual title.
Yeah, they may be their own security firm just for DU, paid by DU.
Yeah, but would you know whether they were armed or unarmed?
Unarmed.
No,
they were unarmed.
They were armed, Dave?
They had pepper spray.
Guns.
No,
guns.
I'm talking about a firearm.
Yeah, we didn't see any guns on them. No.
Then they're probably just regular employees with DU.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly correct. Yeah, we're up in Fort Collins, well, not right now, but we came from we're born in Fort Collins, and there's a CSU up there, and so they have actual sworn-in police officers.
Yeah,
that we know
I know about them, and so does Auraria campus.
Oh yeah, yeah, Metro or whatever.
Auraria is they're sworn peace officers, but I'm not sure whether DU's security is. They're employees of the university, or they are subcontracted with a security firm.
I see. Well, it shouldn't matter either way as long as they're the same type of unsworn civilians. But
but DU is private property. So if you're on private property, they don't have the arrest authority, but they do have certain security powers. Does that make sense?
Well, actually, that's kind of where we've always had this issue.
Yeah, the same
being
amount of
private
time.
property, it's kind of like a Walmart. I mean, Walmart's a private public. At least it's open to the public. But the library was open to the public, and so we
But
can't
it's
find
still
any
on
special
private
power.
property.
It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
they really wanted to.
They-
A security guard can go onto the street and citizens arrest someone for a random crime out there if they see it.
Yeah.
But they
Well,
don't normally do that. Though.
Yeah, let's put it this way. Our understanding of the only powers that security guards have is the same powers as employees or owners of the property, and it's naturally anytime a policy violation is witnessed, if they give a formal warning and the person ignores that, then they just simply have arrest powers for
Trespass.
citizens arrest for trespass. Exactly. And so, basically, our concern is that there seems to be this theme of like just because DU is private property, that they have their own firm or whatever, people that patrol there, that somehow they have special powers. Whereas what we're thinking is, technically speaking, if we were to be walking out and they had suspicions of us, it makes more sense that they were supposed to call the police to come out and do an investigation, because technically DU, while it is private property, it's still within Denver police's jurisdiction. I mean, you guys can take calls like assaults there and stuff like that. You just don't patrol it, and so I feel like the patrolling being left up to DU kind of inadvertently ratified some of their powers when they're just employees. Yeah, as far as we can tell.
So I'm back to what?
So-
what is your?
Yeah. Okay. So in the end, this is a better way to explain it. We were trying to report false imprisonment and impersonation charges to the police officers that showed up that night. They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't. They actually didn't even write anything down. So it was a failure to report was the initial thing that we had reported up to their supervisor or internal affairs, Sergeant Frazier.
For the Denver Police Department.
Yeah, just for the police officers that night on the streets that were
Okay,
failing
what
to
date
take
was
the
that?
report. I think 1:31 that night. This is
January 31st.
yeah, in the early morning or the next night in the morning. So yeah, our original
So did you get the name of the officers that
yeah
called the police? Did you call the police?
yeah,
or
we-
did they?
we after we were let go and everything seemed all hunky dory, at least for what they thought was going on. We kept asking questions, found out they were security guards, and then we called the police out. It turns out that it's weird. We requested that the police be called, and the security guards dispatched their police in the police that they happen to have been working with for years and stuff like. And so the police, when they showed up, it looked like the security had called the cops, but we were the ones. And so in the audio that we have, we were defamed by this police that we had figured this out, and so that was
Okay,
our
so
big
who were
complaint.
the officers that showed up?
It was Mel.
There's two others.
I don't know the names. We have a lot of business cards. We can dig them up. Dang it. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Where do I start with that? We have a pile of business cards. One second. Should take a second.
It's all taped up and it's hard to get to. Is that necessary?
The taping update? What do you mean? It's right here.
What?
Business card.
No, I taped it up in a fucking thing.
I'm still on the phone, man.
No, see what I mean? Get back in bed. I'll get it.
Jeez, man. Sorry, man. But
She doesn't sound like she's the right person.
no. So far, we're getting answers and questions across. This is good. Real quick, ma'am, just to kind of clarify everything here. Our initial complaint was against just the two officers that night that failed to report. We initially thought that...
That's the one. Those are the ones that were the Denver police officers.
Exactly, yep. And so that's the names we're trying to get to right now. But basically, our initial complaint was just about the two officers simply failing to report, and we thought that once we got the report in to their supervisor, that their supervisor would go ahead and process the charges. It was trying to have that we believe there was probable cause for false imprisonment and impersonation. And so once we talked to Frazier, and he said that there was no failure to report nor no underlying charges to charge, that's when we called his boss. And
Now wait a minute. Who is Frazier?
Sergeant Frazier is internal affairs, their not immediate supervisor, but
You mean Sergeant Frazier for DPD?
yeah, he's Denver Police
Okay.
too.
Okay.
And so when we got the conversation started with him, and he sort of went along with the police that night and the security guards, then we sort of felt like we had to report him as well because he didn't know that statute or law concept. And so that's when we contacted the OIM. They didn't say either way, but they said they would just perform an investigation. And they sent this letter back, and this guy is Nate Furman, Deputy Monitor, and then the Joe A. Montoya, Internal Affairs Bureau Commander.
Yeah, he's the commander.
Your stupid business.
Yeah, so
Commander Montoya.
Yes.
Over Internal Affairs.
yeah, so those people, since they have now overlooked the case, also have basically failed to report by failing to understand the concept. And so we're reporting them as well as Frazier, as well as the police at night, as well as the security guards. And
Okay,
throwing there in there real
Commander
quick the DA,
Montoya,
because
yes,
we're trying to
but
get
I can't
charges.
do anything about the independent monitor, the letter that you got from them.
Oh, okay, I see.
See, Commander Montoya works, he's the commander for Internal Affairs for the Denver Police Department.
Oh, gotcha.
So then the chain of command, the next for him would be Chief White.
Okay, so the still back to the chief of the police. You guys, what was your department again?
This is the Executive Director of Public Safety's office.
Executive
So
Director
it's
of
the
Police.
office that we're the administrative part that oversees police, fire, sheriff, community 911, community corrections, and youth programs.
Oh, okay. So in terms of like just direct chains of command in the police department,
Correct.
OIM goes straight up to the chief of police, and then
Correct.
from there, then it's maybe you guys or the
Then
mayor,
correct. Then it goes to the executive director after that.
and then to the mayor. Or
Yep.
is there anybody above the
exactly
mayor?
right. Huh?
Is there anybody above the mayor? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Okay, he's the guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So is the mayor kind of someone who is advised by legal teams and stuff?
Stupid
Or,
Waddle.
like he's not a lawyer or a cop or anything, but I imagine he
No. Mm-mm.
he kind of just uses you guys and to kind of run the show. Okay, it kind of gives me some more ideas.
Does that help? Is that helpful?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I still have the two names, E. Ariano and Emmy Watkins of the actual Denver Police Department, the two beat officers that showed up that night.
Oh, okay. Give me those names again.
Yeah. E. Ariano, or Arellano.
Okay.
His badge number is 08058.
Okay.
And
And
then
the other one?
M.E. Watkins.
WATKINS.
Uh-huh. And her number is 06108.
Wait, 06018?
06108.
108. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like a failure to report because of a failure to identify a charge. And that's just going up the chain until people identify the charges. And so we've talked to people on the outside. Real quick, we've noticed this before. Where we've talked to people on the outside in other jurisdictions that aren't so invested in the outcome. They don't have much of an image problem, and so they're very easily capable of not being compromised. And so we ask security guards, we ask police all the time. Basically, these are really basic concepts that once we catch people that are doing them, though, they feel like they need to ratify it to shut us up, because we couldn't have been doing that wrong, or even worse, like that they've been doing it wrong for years, and that's what we were concerned about. But anyways, we'll try the chief of police next. It sounds like. So,
Okay.
but hey, just for your heads up, generally speaking, you're
And
the
what's
farthest.
Your first name?
William
William? Okay.
Montgomery. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's actually nice to be able to talk to you. You got more. Let's put it this way. You got more information from us via our conversation than what we were capable of getting with other people. It should be pretty black and white. Security guards and
Yeah,
power
I just
sustained
had
stuff.
to make
so.
sure because you crossed over in 3 different areas: the OIM, Denver Police, and DU. So I needed to make sure what your issue was just dealing with the Denver police.
Yeah. Ultimately, it wouldn't be an issue if Denver police were doing their jobs, and then they would naturally just go charge these people, and so forth.
Right.
You know, and we always have our own, false imprisonment claims or so forth on our side, but really it's a criminal thing, and really what we're really concerned about most of all is we asked if they were cops, and they said yeah, and so they think they're cops, and that might be a big problem.
Yeah.
You know, we gave our names only because we thought that they were cops, so that was kind of scary to find out they weren't.
Yeah.
So nevertheless,
All right,
by the way,
I hope this works out for you.
they used
real quick, my brother wanted to say something.
Okay.
Denver police dispatch allowed them to run our IDs without a cop present.
Oh yeah, their system to run IDs is not supposed to be something that
Only
non-police
cops can patch
officers.
that in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Someone gave them approval.
Yeah, so that might be a really big thing. Is that they are?
Okay. So what was that again?
Yeah, so
Security
basically,
guards do not
I got it.
have the ability. Fine.
Wording wise, you just said it. I have to word differently. Sorry. One of the things.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that at least the OIM did talk about that they were concerned about was the power to patch through names into the criminal database or whatever, running people's IDs, running warrants, especially warrant check. They said that the access to those channels are only supposed to be provided to police officers, and so these
Correct.
these security guards took our IDs and patched them through Denver police themselves with no police officers present, and then they gave us our IDs back saying that we were cleared, and so it even more so felt like a police encounter.
So the DU security did that, or DPD?
No,
you said-
DU security. Yeah, they ran our names.
They held us while they were running our names.
Yeah, they held us while they were running our names. We asked if we were being detained. They said, yeah, until your name's clear. Once our name's cleared, then they gave us our IDs back, and then they let us go.
After they did the investigation, too.
Yeah, while they're doing their little bin investigation. So, yeah, we were pretty concerned that they have at least the capacity to run people's names without police present and using those systems, which should be a pretty big red flag. At least it was for the OIM. They did catch that, but they didn't really know what else to figure out there. So.
Well, I'm gonna have to ask that question. That's a good question.
Thank you. You sound like you could have some play here. Just simply just poking questions because we there's enough consistency on this side where these aren't the laws and so forth that I think. So far, people have been telling me that security guards are not supposed to be able to run names, and so that's pretty consistent. And I feel like if that is the case, then that should be addressed definitely with them.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let me check it out. At least I'll call you back on that part, but you'll have to pursue the other piece through Chief White.
Yeah, absolutely, no worries. Naturally, if you find out that, and can correct that, naturally that should probably help people realize that they don't have other powers. And so once a security guard tries to run our names now and they don't have the powers, then they'll maybe get the idea or something, whatever.
Okay.
But I really appreciate the input, though, and thanks for calling or answering here. We're just trying to we're trying to clean up a little of the system here. It's getting pretty corrupt. So.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.